Introduction. What if the biggest reason you're losing money in the market is you? Not your strategy, not the news, not even the market itself. It's that moment when you panic sell, overtrade, or chase that one last setup knowing deep down you shouldn't. Every trader talks about strategy. Few master self-control, the real edge that separates winning traders from the rest. This book isn't about charts. It's about you. It's about understanding your emotions, building discipline, and becoming unshakable, even on your worst trading days. Because the truth is, if you can't control yourself, you'll never control your outcomes. Let's change that.
Chapter 1. The Trigger Trap. Have you ever looked back at a trade and thought, why did I even enter that? You weren't following your plan. There wasn't a clear setup. Maybe you were even telling yourself mid-trade, this is dumb. I shouldn't be doing this. But you did it anyway. You're not alone. Every trader, whether they admit it or not, has fallen into the same trap, the impulse trade. No logic, no plan, just a sudden surge of the motion that pushes you to act. It's almost like something hijacked your brain and clicked the mouse for you. And that's because it kind of did. You're not trading the market, you're trading your brain. Let's get one thing clear right now. You are not fighting the market. You are fighting yourself. When most traders think about improving, they focus on strategies, indicators, or some secret pattern. They don't realize that the real war is happening inside their own head. The market isn't the enemy. The enemy is your lack of control over your own triggers. Those emotional reactions, FOMO, frustration, greed, fear, aren't just personality flaws. They're deeply rooted biological responses. Your brain, specifically your limbic system, the emotional part, was built for survival, not for trading. That means your brain is wired to react, not reflect. In trading, reacting can be fatal. The dopamine hijack. Every time you see a green candle shoot up, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical hit you get from social media likes, junk food, or gambling. That's right. Trading can trigger the same addictive pathways as a casino, and it doesn't even matter if you win or lose. Just the possibility of a reward is enough to flood your brain with dopamine. That rush makes you feel alive, excited, in control. Until, of course, the market goes against you and you panic. Suddenly, you're no longer a trader. You're a gambler chasing a high. FOMO, the fear of missing out or the fear of being left behind. Let's talk about one of the most common triggers, FOMO. You scroll through Twitter or watch other traders making money and instantly you feel behind. You think, I'm missing the move, or everyone else is cashing in but me. What you're really afraid of isn't missing a trade. You're afraid of being left behind. You're afraid you'll never catch up. You're afraid that this trade is your one big chance, and if you miss it, you failed. That kind of pressure leads to reckless entries, oversized positions, and chasing candles. And let's be real, how many of those FOMO trades actually work out? Probably very few. Revenge trading. Pain looking for a purpose. Another emotional trap is revenge trading, when you take a loss and immediately try to get it back. This is especially dangerous because now you're not trading to win, you're trading to erase pain. But here's the truth. Pain doesn't disappear with another trade. It multiplies. The loss makes you angry. That anger clouds your judgment. And the next trade? That's not based on logic. It's based on emotion. Now you're in a spiral, trading out of hurt, not out of strategy. You don't need more setups. You need to pause and process. The trap of overtrading. Let's be honest. Sometimes we trade just because we're bored. You've already checked the news, you've scanned your watch list, and now you're just sitting there, waiting, watching. Then a tiny movement catches your eye. It's not a real setup, but it's something. So you click in, thinking, maybe I'll catch a quick scalp. But trading without reason is like driving blindfolded. You might get lucky, but eventually you'll crash. This isn't trading. It's activity addiction, the need to do something so you feel productive. But in trading, the best action is often inaction. Why willpower isn't enough. You might think, next time I'll just use more willpower. But here's the thing. Willpower is limited. Studies have shown that your willpower is like a battery. It drains throughout the day. Every decision you make, every temptation you resist, chips away at your self-control. That's why your worst trading decisions often happen in the afternoon or after a losing streak. Your mental energy is already depleted. The key isn't to be stronger. The key is to build systems that protect you from yourself. Awareness is the first step to mastery. Here's some good news. You can break free from the trigger trap, but it starts with awareness. Think of self-control like a muscle. You have to train it. And just like in the gym, the first step is noticing which muscles are weak. Start by tracking your trades, not just the entries and exits, but your emotions during each one. Ask yourself, what was I feeling before I placed this trade? Did I follow my plan or react to the moment? Was this a logical setup or an emotional decision? You can even rate your emotional state from 1 to 10 after each trade. Over time, you'll start to see patterns. Maybe you overtrade when you're tired, or you revenge trade after 2 losses, or you chase setups after scrolling social media. You can't fix what you don't notice. Create emotional circuit breakers. Once you start recognizing your triggers, the next step is to build emotional circuit breakers, systems that interrupt your impulses before they lead to bad trades. Here are a few simple, high-impact ones. 1. The 5-minute rule. Before entering any trade, set a 5-minute timer. During that time, ask, does this trade match my plan? Am I emotionally neutral? What's my risk? If the trade still looks good after 5 minutes, go for it. If not, walk away. 2. The 1 red, 1 break rule. If you take a red or a losing trade, step away from the screen for at least 15 minutes. Don't stack emotional decisions. Reset your mind. 3. Screen-free mornings. Avoid checking the market or social media for the first 30 minutes of your day. Start with journaling or reading your trading plan. This keeps you from getting emotionally hijacked before you even start. Your triggers are not your identity. Maybe you've struggled with FOMO. Maybe you've blown up accounts from revenge trading. Maybe you have felt like you're just not disciplined enough. Let me tell you something very clearly. That is not who you are. Your triggers are learned responses. They can be unlearned. You are not broken. You are human, and humans can grow. You are capable of becoming a calm, strategic, consistent trader. But first, you have to stop judging yourself and start studying yourself. Why this chapter matters more than any indicator. Some traders will read this and think, yeah, emotions. Let's get to the real stuff, entries and exits. But here's the secret. This is the real stuff. Self-control is your edge, not RSI, not MACD, not Fibonacci. Because even the best setup in the world means nothing if you can't manage your impulses. You don't need to trade more. You need to feel less and think more. When you master your emotions, everything changes. You stop chasing trades. You let profits run without panic. You cut losses quickly without guilt. You sleep better at night. You start trusting yourself. That's the beginning of true trading freedom. Final thoughts. From chaos to control. Every trader begins with chaos. No one comes into the market fully composed. We all start by reacting, guessing, and chasing. But the ones who succeed, they evolve. They study themselves. They build guardrails. They slow down. You can be that trader. This chapter isn't just theory. It's a mirror. If you're brave enough to look into it, you'll see the truth. The market isn't your biggest challenge. You are. And that's the best news possible, because it means the power to change is already in your hands. You don't need to trade harder. You need to trade wiser. Welcome to your first step out of the trigger trap and into real control.
Chapter 2. The Boring Edge. Let's start with an uncomfortable truth. Boring trading makes big money. Most people don't want to hear that. They want action. They want adrenaline. They want the next big play. They want trading to feel like a movie. But the traders who consistently make money over the long run, they operate like machines. Their process is repetitive, calm, almost robotic. To outsiders, it looks dull. To them, it's freedom. And here's the twist. Those traders win not because they're smarter, but because they're more disciplined. The most dangerous word in trading: exciting. If your trading day feels exciting, you might be doing it wrong. Think about it. What other industries reward excitement? Would you want your brain surgeon to feel excited while operating on you? Would you trust a pilot who says, "Let's make this flight a little wild today"? Of course not. In high-performance environments, excitement is a red flag. It signals emotion, risk, and unpredictability. Yet in trading, many people confuse excitement with success. But here's what real success looks like: boredom. That's right. True trading success feels boring because it's consistent. It's slow. It's methodical. It's like watching grass grow, but that grass becomes money. Why the market punishes emotion? The market is a brutal place for emotionally driven people, not because emotions are bad, but because the market doesn't care about them. It doesn't care that you're tired, or that you want to make your money back, or that your gut says, "just one more trade." The market rewards cold, calculated execution. It rewards those who treat it like a business, not a thrill ride. And that's why discipline matters more than genius. You don't need to be brilliant. You don't need to predict the future. You don't even need to be right more than 50% of the time. What you need is the ability to follow your plan when it's boring, frustrating, or unclear. That's what separates amateurs from professionals. The myth of the genius trader. We love stories about market wizards who just knew a crash was coming or who made $1 million in a single trade. But what we don't hear about are the countless hours of not trading, of watching setups develop, of sitting on hands, of following the same boring checklist every day. Most legendary traders didn't get rich from being impulsive. They got rich from being boring. They didn't trade more. They traded better and more selectively. Their edge wasn't in predicting the market. It was in mastering themselves. The power of routine in a chaotic world. Trading is one of the most chaotic environments you can operate in. News breaks, prices spike, rumors fly, emotions run high. In that chaos, your routine is your anchor. When you have a solid routine, your brain doesn't have to burn energy on small decisions. You already know what time you start, what charts you check, what setups you look for, what your risk per trade is, what makes you walk away. That structure frees your mind. It reduces decision fatigue. It protects you from emotional whiplash. And over time, it becomes your biggest edge. Systems versus emotion, one wins every time. Imagine two traders. One trades on instinct. He watches the charts, feels the energy, and pulls the trigger based on gut. He sometimes wins big, but often gives it all back. The other trader follows a clear system. He only enters if A, B, and C happen. He exits if D happens. His risk is always capped. His process is repetitive. Guess who lasts longer? The second trader isn't smarter, he's more disciplined. His results are stable because his behavior is stable. He doesn't ride emotional highs and lows. He doesn't chase, overtrade, or second-guess himself. That's the boring edge, and it wins. Consistency is the compound interest of trading. Most people underestimate the power of consistency. They want big gains now. But trading, like wealth building, is a long game. The trader who makes $100 a day, every day, will crush the trader who makes $1,000 once a week but loses $2,000 in between. Consistency allows for compounding, in capital, yes, but also in confidence. Every day you stick to your plan, follow your rules, and stay out of trouble, you're building internal trust. That trust turns into confidence, and confidence leads to better execution. Suddenly, you don't need to chase. You don't need to hope. You just follow the process and let the edge play out. Why patience is a superpower. Here's a reality most new traders hate to accept. You will spend more time not trading than trading. Most of the job is waiting. Waiting for your setup, waiting for confirmation, waiting for your price. But in that waiting is where the edge lies. Impatient traders trade everything. They blur their criteria. They justify entries. They create setups out of boredom. But patient traders protect their capital. They only strike when the odds are in their favor. They let trades come to them. And because of that, they're usually the ones walking away with profits while the others chase their tails. Filtering out the noise. The modern trading world is loud. Every platform is full of signals, alerts, opinions, and flashy charts. Every Twitter thread promises the best strategy. Every YouTuber claims to have cracked the code. And if you're not careful, that noise will destroy your focus. Discipline means building filters. You don't need 20 indicators. You don't need to follow 50 traders. You don't need to trade every asset. You need a clean setup, a clear plan, and a quiet mind. The more noise you eliminate, the more clarity you gain. The more clarity you gain, the better your decisions become. Building your boring routine. So how do you build a boring trading routine that actually makes money? Start by structuring your day like a business. Set a fixed start time. Create a checklist for market open. Decide how many trades you'll take per session. Review your trades at the end of the day, every day. Make it repeatable. Make it boring. Make it yours. For example, a professional day trader might have a routine like wake up at 6:30 a.m., review news and economic calendar, pre-market scan from 7 to 7:30, chart markups and setups by 8 o'clock, trade window from 9 to 11:30, break from screens in the afternoon, journaling and review from 4 to 4:30. Nothing flashy, just pure process-driven execution. And that's where the money is. Introducing the emotional budget system. Let's talk about something powerful, something that can change the way you trade forever. It's called your emotional budget. Think of it like this. Just like you have a financial budget, you also have a limited amount of emotional energy each day. Once it's spent, your decision-making degrades. So how do you manage it? First, set boundaries. Limit your screen time. Cap your number of trades per session. Avoid watching every single candle. Second, build recovery into your process. Take breaks, step outside, meditate, reset after a loss. Third, journal your emotional spend. After each trade, ask, how tired am I? How frustrated? How clear-minded? The more awareness you build, the more control you gain. And the more control you gain, the less you'll sabotage your results. Trading is not just about managing risk. It's about managing yourself. How to stay boring in a market that's addicted to hype. It's hard to stay grounded when everyone around you is shouting. When a crypto coin pumps 80% overnight, when a trader posts a $10,000 profit on Instagram, when YouTube thumbnails say $500 to $50,000 in 5 days, it's easy to feel like your boring process is too slow, like you're missing out. But here's what you need to remember. The loudest traders are often the most reckless. They're not showing you their blown accounts. They're not posting the sleepless nights, the margin calls, the emotional meltdowns. Your edge is in tuning out that hype and trusting your own path. Let the world chase dopamine. You're chasing freedom. And freedom comes from control, from consistency, from compounding wins over time, not chasing flashy ones. The invisible results that matter most. Some of the best days in trading don't look like wins on your P&L. They look like walking away instead of revenge trading, holding your position through fear, passing on a trade that didn't meet your criteria, logging your journal honestly, ending the day flat but emotionally clean. These are the invisible wins that no one sees, but they build the foundation of long-term success. They are proof that you're evolving. And in trading, evolution is everything. The final word, boredom, is a badge of honor. So, here's the big takeaway. If your trading feels boring, that's a sign you're doing it right. It means you have a process. It means you're not chasing.
Chapter 3. Hold the line. You're in a trade. The price is dancing. It shoots up, drops hard, stalls. Your heart's racing. Your fingers twitch over the mouse. Your brain is shouting 5 different ideas at once. Should I exit? Add more. Reverse position. You're no longer analyzing, you're reacting. And that's where everything starts to fall apart. If you've ever felt completely hijacked by your emotions during a trade, this chapter is for you, because this is where traders either evolve or explode. The ability to stay calm when every candle screams at you is one of the rarest and most powerful skills in trading. This chapter will teach you exactly how to develop that. Not with theory, but with tools, mindset shifts, and real habits used by elite performers, soldiers, and yes, even world-class traders. The real battle is in the pause. Here's a truth most traders don't learn early enough. The difference between a successful trader and a losing one is often just 5 seconds. That small space between stimulus and response, that's where your power lives. Someone says something offensive. You pause, breathe, and decide how to respond. The market moves against you. You pause, breathe, and review your plan, not just panic-click your way to a blown account. Most traders never develop that pause. They react instantly. Candle drops. They panic sell. Price spikes. They chase in. Trade goes red. They double down emotionally. And that's how they lose control. The real skill isn't just holding a trade. It's holding your mind. Why you react. The physiology behind your trading panic. Let's take a moment to zoom in on what's happening inside your body during a stressful trade. When the market makes a fast move against your position, your brain perceives a threat, similar to how it would react if you saw a snake or heard a loud bang. Your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, activates instantly. It triggers a fight or flight response. Your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline. Your breathing gets shallow. Your heart rate spikes. Your vision narrows. All of this is great if you're being chased by a bear, but in trading, it destroys your decision-making. When cortisol rises, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic and planning, goes offline. Your brain literally becomes dumber under stress. This is why, even though you know what your plan is, you suddenly forget it the moment you need it most. How elite performers train for chaos. If you want to learn how to stay calm under pressure, don't just look at traders. Look at people whose lives depend on it. Navy SEALs, elite athletes, emergency responders. These are professionals who operate in high-stakes, high-stress environments where one wrong move can cost lives. And they all train one critical skill: staying neutral under pressure. They don't suppress emotion, they regulate it. They've developed mental and physical habits that allow them to operate under stress while keeping their clarity. You can train that too, right now. Let's break it down. Tactical breathing, a trader's secret weapon. Your breath is the bridge between your body and your brain. It's also the fastest way to get your nervous system back under control. When you feel panic rising during a trade, pause for a few seconds and start tactical breathing. It's used by soldiers and first responders to quickly lower heart rate and recenter the mind. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Breathe out for 4 seconds, and hold again for 4 seconds. That's one cycle. Do 3 to 5 cycles when your mind is spiraling. You'll feel your body calm down. Your mind will begin to quiet. And most importantly, you'll re-engage your logical brain. You're not reacting anymore. You're responding. The power of visualization. Prepare before the storm. Visualization isn't some new age nonsense. It's a scientific-backed performance technique used by elite athletes, military snipers, and yes, even world-class traders.
Before your trading session, take 5 minutes to mentally walk through your day. See yourself sitting calmly at the desk. See your setup forming. See yourself executing with patience. Now, visualize price going against you. Feel the tension, but imagine yourself staying calm, breathing, and sticking to your stop loss. By rehearsing this in your mind, you're building emotional memory. When the moment comes, your brain will have a blueprint. You won't be shocked. You've already handled it in your head. Now your mind knows, I've been here before. I can hold the line. Neutral thinking, the trader's mental armor. Let's talk about mindset. Most traders swing between two extremes. Positive thinking, this trade is going to moon. Or negative thinking, I always lose. Both are dangerous. Why? Because they're both emotionally loaded and emotionally unstable. The mindset that protects you is called neutral thinking. Neutral thinking doesn't celebrate or catastrophize. It just sees the data. This is the setup. This is my risk. This is the outcome if I follow my plan. Neutral thinking is emotionally clean. It allows you to reset after a loss without spiraling into shame or desperation. It also prevents overconfidence after a win, which is where many traders overstep and blow their edge. The best traders don't get too high or too low. They stay neutral. They hold the line. Dealing with losses. Responding, not reacting. Losses are part of trading. You can't avoid them, but you can choose how you respond to them. The worst traders lose money and then lose their mind. They double their position. They take revenge trades. They spiral. Great traders feel the pain, but don't let it make their next decision. They take a breath. They step away from the screen. They journal what happened, what they felt, and what they'll adjust. This isn't weakness. This is discipline. Learning to process losses without emotional damage is one of the greatest skills you can develop. When you stop fearing losses, you stop rushing. When you stop rushing, you gain control. When you gain control, you trade better. This is how emotional mastery compounds over time. How to create micropauses in the heat of trading. One powerful tool you can implement right away is the micropause. It's exactly what it sounds like, a tiny pause before you act. Before entering a trade, pause for 5 seconds. Before adjusting a stop, pause. Before clicking that revenge entry, pause. This space might seem insignificant, but it's massive. It's in that space where you ask yourself, am I acting based on my plan or my emotion? Is this a response or a reaction? Am I trading to win or to feel better? These micropauses create a buffer between your impulses and your actions, and they can save your account. The role of sleep, diet, and mental energy in self-control. We've talked a lot about tools you can use during trading, but let's not ignore what happens outside the charts. Self-control isn't just a mental skill. It's deeply connected to your physical state. If you're sleep-deprived, dehydrated, or running on junk food, your emotional regulation will collapse. You'll snap more easily. You'll forget your rules. You'll make stupid mistakes you regret instantly. Want better self-control? Start with the basics. Get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Drink water. Move your body. Eat clean foods that support brain function. You're not a robot. You're a human trader, and your body is your performance machine. Treat it like a Ferrari, not a junkyard car. End-of-day rituals. Clearing the emotional cache. After a trading day, your brain is filled with tension, emotion, and decision fatigue. Most traders don't process this. They just shut the charts and move on. But that leftover stress builds up. That's why having an end-of-day ritual is crucial. Start by reviewing your trades, not just the outcomes, but the decisions. Ask yourself, did I follow my rules? Where did I stay calm? Where did I react emotionally? Then, write it down, even just a few lines. The act of writing clears your mind and brings closure to the session. Then, do something that resets your body and brain. Walk.
meditate, take a shower, disconnect from screens. This recovery routine is how you protect your emotional capital for the next day. Because trading isn't just about charts, it's about how you recover between battles. Why self-control feels harder than strategy. Most traders can learn strategy. You study charts, you test setups, you learn indicators. That part is teachable. But self-control feels harder because it forces you to confront yourself, your fears, your ego, your need to be right, your hunger for validation, your emotional baggage. Trading is one of the few careers where your inner world becomes your outer result. If your mind is chaotic, your account will be too. That's why holding the line matters more than any moving average. It's not about staying in a trade. It's about staying in your zone. You're not broken. You're building. Let's be clear, if you've struggled to hold the line, you're not weak. You're not broken. You're not just undisciplined.